Are you sat here worried about money? Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Then what you need is a budget, and I'm here to teach you the best free budgeting methods that you can use to spend smarter in 2020. Hello and welcome to Max Talks, where every Sunday I make videos to help you get to where you want to be. So let's get straight into it. Before you even consider your budgeting methods, it's important that first of all that you have an emergency fund. I've covered this before on my channel, but basically this is a pot of money that you set aside to cover you in case of emergency. In case your circumstances change dramatically, it should cover you for about 6 months worth of expenditure. So next, once you have that, you then need to work out how much you want to spend every week or every month so that you can put this into your budget. So now that you have your budgeted amount, let's get into the methods. The first method is by Dave Ramsey. And if you don't know who that is this guy right here. And if you've not heard of him, he basically says that all debt is bad, avoid it at all costs, it's a sin to debt. Maybe not that last part though. But his budgeting method is actually really useful, and one that you may not have considered before. So this is to use cash envelopes. In the style of Blue Peter, here's some I prepared earlier, but I will also put the graphic on the screen so you don't have to squint your eyes to read them. Basically, the idea with the cash envelopes is that you take out the amount that you want to spend per week or per month in cash, and then you allocate this budget in the different envelopes according to how you're going to spend them. So you might have one for food or groceries, you might have one for bills and electric, you might have one for going out and socializing or donating to charity. Whatever it is, it allows you to keep track physically your budget so that, you know, once that envelope's out, you know that you've reached your budget and you don't have to spend any more. This is a good method because it's very visual. So if you like to keep track of visual, it can be a lot more empowering because you can kind of see your money going out of your account. Whereas like if you kind of manage it on a bank, it almost doesn't seem real and you just boop, tap your card to spend some money. And also you can feel like a baller with all your envelopes. Number 2 is an automatic money transfer process. So that might sound a bit complicated, but in reality it's very straightforward, and this is one that I use myself. So basically what this means is I have a separate bank account which I use purely for a weekly budget. So I have my main bank account which all my wages go in and I kind of use for any big purchases, but for day-to-day and weekly spend, I use one card, a separate account, and I have my budgeted amount transfer automatically on a weekly basis to that account. The beauty with this as well is that I'm able to track it easily from my phone, so I can see how much is left in my account. So it's kind of similar to the cash method, but without kind of risking carrying all of your cash around with you. And it's automated as well, so you don't have to do anything and it kind of comes out automatically. For this, I personally use Starling Bank. I don't know whether this is available elsewhere, but definitely in the UK, this is really good because it also has a feature where you can put money in a space. So if you're saving up for like a car or something like that, you can round up your spendings. So say you spend like, I don't know, 60p on a Freddo, because that's probably how expensive they are nowadays. If you have round up spending on, it will round up the 40p and put it in a space that you're saving up for. So it can be a really good way for you to save up stuff while also putting that as part of your budget. Number 3, this is an Excel spreadsheet. Yes, you heard it right. Now, if you've been on the channel a little while, you'll know that I love a spreadsheet and that I love a bit of data. So this might not be for everyone, but if you like spreadsheets and you like having a bit of customization on your budget, then this is the one for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through roughly, I'm going to show you a spreadsheet example on the screen, which I've taken from Money Saving Expert, and it allows you to kind of document your spending and your budget very easily and in a concise way. And also it's pre-done, so you don't have to kind of customize it yourself. So welcome to the spreadsheet. I'm not going to go too much into this because I don't want to bore you with the spreadsheet. We all know death by PowerPoint, death by spreadsheet, and etc. So basically on here, you've got a few different articles which you can use to help your saving and give you some additional tips. So you've then got a what do you earn section, a really quick overview of the earnings that you have and the money that's coming in. You could get this from your bank account, but this just gives you a nice overall overview of that. And then we move on to the what do you spend section. So on this, it might seem a bit overwhelming because there's 13 different sections for spending, but you don't need to put all of those in. Like if you don't spend in 13 areas, then don't bother putting all 13 areas, you know, just put in what you spend, and then that will help you when it comes to your overall spend. And it's also, as you can see, got a few articles down here to help you with that.
So yeah, it might take you a little while to do, but trust me, it's worthwhile investing in this so that you can properly budget your time. Then you've got your spending totals, where it adds up and categorizes all of your spending from your previous tab. It's all formatted, so you don't have to do it, you don't have to customize it, you don't have to think about it. And you can also put in a desired spend here, so that you've got like a budget. So if you want to kind of change your spending, spend less, spend more, you can do that by going on this tab here. And then your final tab, you've got to check your results, where you can see how much you spend in comparison to how much you earn, so whether you're living in your means and whether you are kind of abiding by that number one rule of personal finance, living within your means. But yeah, that's very quick. If you want to download this, or if you want to get it, the link will be in the description. Or if you don't have access to this for whatever reason, then you can try using this as a template to make your own. So back to Max in the studio.
If you want to create your own, you're more than welcome to. Spreadsheets are fairly straightforward to use. Once you get the hang of it, you can use conditional formatting and all that sort of stuff. Number 4 is a budgeting book or a budgeting journal. So for those of you who are more visual learners, this might be a better one for you. You might write it down. Basically, it's just kind of having a written note of what you spend and when you spend it. So if any of you do diaries, you could put this in as part of that. Dear diary, today I spent £5 on takeaway. I don't know, maybe that's what you write in your diary, maybe it isn't. But on a more serious note, financial books or journals can be really, really good. An easy way to document your progress, because it's a helpful reminder. Every time that you spend something, you come back, you write it in your journal, add it up at the end of the week, or you add it up at the end of the month, and then you can see your budget and your actual spend and how closely related they are. If you're like a more visual person, you could even have like a savings chart on your wall. So say if you're saving up for something, if you don't fancy the spaces thing, which I kind of alluded to earlier, you could have a chart like this one on the wall and make some progress and see how you're getting on. And that's a good way to hold yourself accountable. You can constantly see how much you're saving. The important thing is that you kind of keep it up to date and you keep writing on it. Number 5 is budgeting apps. So this would be a really good time for me to transition to today's sponsor, which is, drumroll please, subscribe to Max Talks. No, I'm just kidding, I don't really have a sponsor. However, I do want to suggest some potential budgeting apps that might be good for you. I do want to say that I've not actually fully tested these out myself, so I can't give you personal experience. However, if you want to see a video on that where I kind of test out the different budgeting apps and give you my thoughts and my opinions, maybe some recommendations, let me know in the comments below. However, I did find a really good video kind of explaining a few of the pros and the cons on it, so I'll leave a link to that in the cards as well so you can check that out. But 3 ones that you may want to consider, and again, these are UK based, there's probably some different ones if you're based elsewhere, are Emma, Yolt and Money Dashboard. And you can kind of sync these up to your bank account. It's a bit of all of the methods, to be fair, but all of your spending and budget is all in the same place. So these could be a really, really good way, especially if you want to manage it from your phone. You don't want to kind of spend ages setting it up. You can, once it's done, basically. So those are all of the different methods. However, I think the most important thing to mention here is that don't feel limited to just one method. It'll work differently for everyone. Test out some different methods. You might want to try a budgeting app. You might want to try the cash envelopes, big Dave Ramsey. But once you've found a method, stick to it. That is the most important thing. Allocate some time on a regular basis to go through your budget, to check how you're doing, to hold yourself accountable. I do this by setting a regular appointment in my calendar to check up on my finances and see how they're getting on. But again, it might work differently for you. If you want to keep on top of your finances, the most important thing is that you check it on a regular basis. By doing this, it will allow you to achieve your financial goals, whatever they might be. So I wish you good luck in your budgeting. Thank you very much for watching this week's video. I hope that you enjoyed. Last week's comment of the week was by SNS and the RV Cat, so I'll leave their comment down below, which was really, really good. Thank you very much for that. If you want a chance to be featured in next week's video, please let me know in the comments which of these budgeting methods was your favorite and the one that you think you're going to try. And do you have any other methods that I didn't cover? Thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, leave a like rating, subscribe below for new content every single Sunday, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next Sunday. Subscribe below for... Last week's comment of the week was by Gosh, why did I do that?